On our way.
I don't want to wait. 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 Africa.
And we are starting our Facebook broadcast now. We should be live to Facebook. At least any second we should be live to Facebook. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah. Going to switch over to us now, guys. We're live. We're live on Facebook right now. Everybody can hear us, so now will be your time to share and all that other stuff. I want to make sure everything's working for people who are just tuning in now. Where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. Oh, yes. Let's see. Let me mute that out. All right. Nope. Not what I want. Negatory on that. What's up, everybody? Okay.
What up?
We're live. I'm just sharing it. What is up with this?
Interweb.
Where the hell? Aha!
Stones, what's your snack of choice?
Coconut Honey Crisps. They're delicious.
Where do you get it?
They're delicious.
Misfits. Misfits
They're,
Market.
they're delicious.
Dude, Misfits Market is the best.
All right, that should be there. One more minute, everybody, and then we're going now. We're live now.
Hi, Justin.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's working. Everything's working. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Awesome Talk, Quarantine Edition, episode number 12. As of tonight, we will have officially... Can you mute me? We will officially have done enough shows in quarantine to fill up an entire Awesome Talk season. Awesome Talk seasons typically go 12 episodes, so this is 12 of these we've done now in quarantine. How is everybody doing out there? How's everybody tonight?
Are you asking us?
Yeah, I'm asking you guys.
I'm good. How's everybody doing? Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I feel like the fucked up part about all of this is I feel like every single time I talk to you guys and we do this show, the world is just a little bit more fucked up than it was before. And that's interesting to me.
I'm getting used to it by now, actually.
You're getting used to it?
Yeah, it's like every day, so it's like, oh, this is, it's normal, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Bro, read the chat. Just
Let me see the chat. Keith, holy shit. Is that what Stones actually looks like with the real lighting? They let him out of the government black site. I know usually it's just a big zoom in. What's up, Jared? How's it going? What's up, Justin? I got my nice white wine here. Guys. I'm ready to roll with that tonight.
Bougie.
Mm-hmm. Bougie as fuck, dude. And now I'm trying to get this to work properly. What is up with this? No, I don't want to do that. What the fuck?
Did you get that white wine delivered?
I did get that white wine delivered.
That's bougie as shit.
I know, dude. There's nothing.
How do they check your ID with that?
I guess they just hope for the best.
You do a virtual pinky promise, basically.
Yeah, I promised to drop off your liquor outside.
You know, I'll tell you, they ship it from like Wyoming, so I kind of think they don't give a fuck.
Well, no, that's not true. There's states on there that they can't ship to.
Right.
We just, well, actually, New Jersey used to be on that list. It changed somewhat recently, I guess.
In some cases, yeah. Other cases, it's getting circumvented in some way, shape, or form.
Oh well, fuck
If
it.
that's the worst thing, getting wine delivered to your house, I think I'm all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know how to start tonight because there's so many dumb things going on at once.
Did
Oh,
anybody
can I
watch
speak
the new
first?
Unsolved Mysteries?
I have not.
It's pretty good shit.
Is it just as good as and as creepy as the 1989, 1997, whatever the fuck run they had?
They went in a different direction a little bit, and I totally understand why they did. Because, like, everyone was like, oh, well, is Robert Stack going to be in it? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, obviously he's fucking not. And in order to, like, completely circumvent the fact that everyone would be like, the host is not as good as the old host was, there is no host. So basically when the show starts, each show is just one story instead of like 2 or 3 or however many they used to do. So, and it's all filmed like a documentary. So when the show opens now, it just immediately goes into the documentary, like either someone talking about what happened or like a fucking reenactment or something. So like it's appropriately modernized version of Unsolved Mysteries.
I thought it was
It's
pretty
pretty
good.
dope. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I missed that fucking show, dude. And I think that the production work on it currently is fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing, dude.
I mean, I would figure they've progressed quite a few years on that, camera ability and what do you call it? When they remake an actual event.
A reenactment?
No, not a reenactment. What's the term that they use?
Other
It's,
reenactments are fire now.
No, they
I
run it
like
under.
how every episode is basically cops didn't do shit, so like we're here now confused about like what we can do.
What's really funny to me is how
And
is how
please,
much
if you have any information, call this number.
it's funny to me because documentaries, like, I mean, I guess it's always been kind of evident, but documentaries are doing better work than police are doing when it comes to investigations. Like, I can't believe how many investigative documentaries have come out in the last several years that led to an arrest or reopening a case or led to a murderer or led to, and it's like, wow, man, this guy just making a documentary did a great job digging for fucking information.
I think that brings up like a problem with like there's all these the calls are for defund the police, but I think a lot of that is rooted in the fact that the police haven't invested, like their funding hasn't gone to investigating in
Stones.
a long time.
You
like,
can't pay for investigations when you need to buy a tank and a rocket launcher for your suburban neighborhood.
Right, but I mean that's one of the real issues is that investigating has fallen by the wayside.
Yeah.
Whereas going after petty crimes that
Right.
create
It's so much easier
revenue
to just choke some motherfucker out selling cigarettes on a street corner than actually have
yeah,
to
exactly.
dig for
And it's,
fucking evidence.
Right. Instead of
know.
actually, figuring out who actually is a criminal.
Right.
That's what kills me about all these people that are like, oh, this is such bullshit, blah blah blah. It's like, well, it's not really bullshit, and there's a reason why the cry is happening. It's not.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the other thing too, that the thing about the defunding the police thing that bugs me is the utter misunderstanding of it, and the way that there are certain organizations that are purposely, actively putting out misinformation in terms of what that means.
Sure.
And that
Sure.
and that's why that's the same reason why we got assholes, showing up to town halls with big diagrams about why people shouldn't wear masks. And it's just all this wrong information. And like, it's the same fucking thing with this, man. Like, people think, oh, well, what are you going to do when something happens then? Who are you going to call? And it's like, well, first of all, I have friends who I'd rather call, number one. And number two, the problem is, okay, to the cops' credit, all right, the problem is that they're being called for things that they never should be called for in the first place. If you're
Sure.
armed and you're
Garbage.
trained to deal with violence, and your adult, autistic son is getting out of hand and you need help, now you're going to call the enforcers in. And that's what they're
Right.
trained to do, to enforce. So like,
Right.
so,
Well,
so-
it's, like Trump said, like, oh, there's more white people that are killed by cops than black people. It's like, well, I mean, you don't see the flaw in what you said there? Like,
no, because the
like,
flaw
what?
is that
Like,
13% of the population's black. So let's
yeah, but like,
readjust
but why are
those
they all
numbers.
being killed?
Huh? Well, yeah, of course.
Why
Why
are
are people being killed? You know what's so funny? As an American, I just jumped right over that part. I was like, oh, people are getting killed. Isn't that normal? Isn't that how this is supposed to work? Because it's been that way like most of my life. I don't know, man. We're pretty embarrassing right now. We're pretty embarrassing.
Man.
We have stupid people with the most conviction I've ever seen in my entire life right now at this point in history, I think.
The deepest conviction. The deepest conviction. And they're not all stupid, but they're, you know what it is? It's a conviction based on lack of full knowledge. It's nerve-wracking. It's
No, man,
nerve-wracking.
can I say something? Don't you think it's not just that, but it's also a lack of desire to go get that knowledge? Like, I feel like people like to listen to the things that justify what they want to believe, and once they do, the thirst for the truth comes to an end right there with a lot of people.
I tend to think that there's a decent percentage of people that
Listen, man, the tobacco
They-
industry
look,
lobbied
look,
that
look.
cigarettes are healthy, and the sugar industry lobbied that fat is the reason why people get fat, not sugar.
Can I try to make a kind of an analogy here that I don't know if it's going to work or not, but like, so you know the argument between you don't need to go to college to get a job, right? You can have a trade, and that colleges have overtaken the whole job market by like telling people and brainwashing kids that they have to go to college, which is the truth. I'm not denying that. It's that whole college aspect as a business was sold to everybody. But then there's that other side of the population that's like, well, you don't need college. You can have a trade and you can be really good. Now think about those two mentalities. Think about where they start generationally, right? And now think about this. An academic goes to school to learn a lot of shit, and they spend their life learning. They spend their life putting years and years and years into academics, right? Not college to get a job, not like a simple business trade, because people don't realize that some college is a trade. You learn businesses, you do that kind of stuff. It's a trade. If you go into health and human performance, it's a trade. When you're in the humanities, when you're in science, when you are in social science, like those strict kind of decision-making processes, you're constantly learning, you're constantly moving along with your trade in an academic sense. You're there to share knowledge, exhibit your knowledge, and go on. And for the other population that doesn't look at it that way, they went into trades like electricians and construction workers, people who run entire businesses based on one singular thing, mechanics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Things that the academics can't fucking do for themselves, right? And things that the academics know that they could share with other people, rather than people surf the internet for answers over and over and over and over again and get half-ass bullshit. Could exchange that with the people who are dedicated to do the hands-on labor and all of that stuff in a perfect society, right? But that has become so skewed and rationalized in certain areas that caused kind of separation and then extremism, and people are angry, and we're living in a period of time where we're in an untruth. So the academics, right, they've lost credibility.
I don't know if
Because-
there's any truth to it, but I did see something that said that spreading misinformation about COVID-19 has been so far a $24 million industry.
Right. Okay. So in regards to what? An industry meaning what? Are you talking about
Probably website clicks.
Yeah.
Probably website
That's-
clicks,
that's
because listen,
it.
man,
Yeah, right.
there's a
You
reason
mean-
why a
you
guy
mean in
like
terms
Alex Jones doesn't thrive because he's spreading truth. He's thriving because he has an audience and he can do advertising off of his pages, and he can monetize his shit and sell a shirt that says, you know, Barack Obama was made in a test tube, and he's going to make a shitload of fucking money doing that. And he's not the only one doing it. So there's so many digital ways to make money off of misinformation that he's right, man. It's a business. It's a business to tell untruths to people who are eager to get them, I think.
Well, it makes money, and but what's happened is in a world of conspiracies gone wrong, right? Conspiracy theories gone wrong, and some things that are reality out there that are being proven that obviously people understood, but now it's becoming more relevant. It's now been politicized rather than just kind of interpreted. And the minute something comes out that's logical, it can be debunked by 6 fucking people, and the next minute 30% of the population believes the 6 fucking people, and no one wants to believe the experts that are in the other 97, 98%. And that's fucking scary, man.
Yeah, and the
Because
other
problem
is,
it's like Rick, it's like if you, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's like if you and I decided that we didn't want to teach anymore, we didn't want to read books, and we didn't learn things to try to help other people, right? It's like you and I just saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to start an electrician business tomorrow, and let's just read a book, man. Let's just learn how to wire an entire house. We show up to somebody's house, and it's kind of like, so we're here to wire your house, and we wire the whole fucking
that's
house.
basically what I did with my CNC machine.
Okay, I'm talking about wiring a house. You
No,
know,
but I went
so,
from
like,
wiring a house to the CNC machine. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna read a book.
and so some people may be able to pick that up, but for people to make assumptions and downplay the importance of factual information, that's problematic.
well,
man.
something
When people are
about
like, no,
something bothers me about what you said. Not because you said it, but because it's true. You were talking about the separation between people who do manual labor and then you have academics, right? And like,
and there's an animosity there, Rick. There's an ego fucking problem for people who are like, oh, I can't work on my car.
But
If you're
here's
a
what-
male
you're
and
totally
you can't
right.
go out and work on your car.
Here's
That's been a masculine fucking trait forever, and you pay someone else to do it. Same with
Right.
landscaping. Same with house
but
construction.
you can relate to what I'm about to say.
Go ahead.
There is nothing sexier, right, than people who can do both. And I don't
That's what
understand why people who can do labor don't also have their mind hungry to learn, and why people who are hungry to learn don't want to learn how to work with their hands. And
But
I never
again,
thought it was
that's-
like
that's
that
Paul-
to the
that's
extent that it's like that, but it is like that. You're right. The separation
Really?
is really showing itself right now.
Well, here's the thing,
I
Stones,
don't
because you
know,
said
man.
but to respond to that real quick, and then I'll let Stones talk. Stones, I know where you're coming from too, because I understand it. I mean, that's what I meant by polarized, right? It's polarized in an extreme, and much like politics, some of those people have experiences, they have education. That's what I mean. It shouldn't come off as arrogant from a certain perspective. What I'm saying is, like, I'm not going to try to put glass in my house. You know, I'm going to learn. I'll learn and I'll do the best I can. I know how to woodwork, but they're trades I picked up from people who taught me how to do those things,
Sure.
and not completely just by learning from hacking it. I asked questions and I learned things from people.
Sure.
What bothers me as a person who chose the academic route, still having a background and being able to do those things, which means like I grew into those things. A lot of people don't want, like you said, don't want to cross the line of,
Yeah.
I can't get in. I'm too good to do the physical labor, and the physical labor is too good to listen to the, you know, the obviously the academics are the pompous pieces of shit,
Right.
which I understand. And that's true in many cases. But as Stones was about to interject, there's a really like good population of people that are fucking level-headed, that have an access point where they can do what they can. They can fucking fix their entire house. They can change everything they need to do with their car.
Sure.
And they have life experience and understanding to be able to pick up a newspaper and read it.
Well, that wasn't exactly.
Problem is,
So
there
my third commission check when I was doing sales engineering, which I'm not a degreed electrical engineer, but I did electrical engineering. I bought a library of electrical books, you know, $1,800 worth of books, and just sat there and read all the books and just hit the books and read because the field that I was in was an emerging field and nobody had any other information. So I needed to get all the information myself. And what I've noticed through the years is the more people that I meet, about 1 in 4, so about 25% of the people that I've worked alongside through the years now, do appreciate learning from me. So, you know, I say that 25%, it's like 50% that act like they're interested in learning. And I've given away lots of books. And I say, listen, every person, I go, listen, you know, I'm going to give you this book and I'm going to quiz you on this book. And you're going to prove to me that you read this book. And after you read this book, I'll give you another book. And like, none of them have really come back and been like, oh yeah, I read this, I read that, I read this.
Yeah,
So,
but
you know,
we're
that's-
also not just talking about people who read because there's a trade they want to get into. We're talking about people who thirst for literature, history, knowledge, critical thinking, and like all these fucking things.
I
And
think-
like, let me
yeah,
ask you
but,
something, dude, because I got to be honest with you. I did manual labor for over a decade, right? And I have to say that is an extraordinarily small percentage of people who ever would have decided to just up and go to college and study literature. Like, most of them probably wouldn't.
Yeah, and
most
that's-
of them
and again-
have
and
a
again, to your
problem
defense-
with people who do that. Like maybe
Yeah,
not outrightly,
but you're
like,
talking about. I don't know what the technical aspect of doing tile entails. Like I don't know how many years it takes to really understand the full grasp of how to tile.
It takes
but with
it
electrical,
takes time, dude. It takes time.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it takes time to get it under your
Landscaping,
hands.
a lot of
But
it's
like-
mathematical, man. That's what's crazy about it. Is it actually requires those skills in a specific way? You know, like it's mathematical and it's
With
hev-
electrical, there's a ton of science there. There's a ton of physics involved with that. There's history on why the code is the way it is. There's wells of knowledge that are in the same vein, I think, as your literature and your academia.
right.
I just wish that people would thirst more for all of it. Like because part of the problem we're talking about here is a cultural issue here too. It's, well, if I do this, then I'm not doing this. If I do
Right.
this, I have to dress this way and look this way and act this way and listen to this kind of music. And not just with academics and manual labor, but we're like this all over the place right now.
You
It's like
think so?
I think, dude, look at Republicans and Democrats right now. Not people like us on this show. We're all over the fucking map. But like the general public that has kind of, no offense to anybody, but has kind of created this environment we're all stuck in, where we're stuck between Donald Trump and Joe fucking Biden now. These are people who like...
Yeah, but I don't think that's the general population that did that. I think
what do
it's,
you mean?
I think it's a very,
This is how we got left with a president and an incumbent fucking president. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't fucking do this. Like, I didn't
No,
do
we
this.
didn't. We didn't. No, Rick, we didn't. Rick, we didn't do that. I mean, I think
people are freer now to do whatever they want comparatively.
Wait.
than-
Wait, Stones. Rick,
Yeah. Go ahead. I don't know why we're paused.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Can Rob
you hear me?
us? Yeah, I can
There he
hear you.
is.
There you are.
sorry.
That's all right. I thought you were fucking with me.
No. I don't know what just happened there. All of a sudden, I was hearing what I was hearing again in my headphones. So I didn't know where we were in the conversation.
That's all right.
So, I mean, ultimately, I think that we've already hit that point in the electoral cycle where people assume that we brought on our candidate, and we brought those people up, and they were, you're sitting with an incumbent president, and you're sitting with somebody who was the last ditch effort and missed their expiration date by like 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's
And by the way,
That
our
is-
culture did this.
if you don't like Trump, you like Biden.
But
And
it's
that's-
important for the American landscape to understand.
Let's vote the whole fucking party to go against him, try to turn Republicans, and then other people are like, "What the hell is this fucking nonsense? This is worse than 4 years ago."
Yeah.
And it's scary, man. It's scary because what next at this fucking point?
I don't know.
What I can tell you. So based on what I've seen, how history works, and this is actually a good question for you, Rob. So there's been all this talk about Civil War, and what I've noticed is there's a few year lag between what's talked about and what actually happens. So I'm assuming we're at least we're possibly a few years away from this.
Stones. I just wanted to say to somebody on Facebook recently posted like, geez, it's not very Mad Max this apocalypse, and I was like, you got to give it a minute. It doesn't happen right away. You need a few years of this first, and then it starts to become mad. You need like water to start to run out, and then you like we're still dude. Come on. I had wine delivered to my door. It's not that bad yet, but we're on our way. I mean, we're slaloming toward it like face first here. It's bad, dude. It's bad. Listen, and the worst part is it doesn't have to be bad either. It doesn't have to be. This is all self-inflicted.
Oh well, there's money to be made during a crisis, man.
Course,
That's man.
Can I just say hi to the people in the chat, because there's all kinds of people in the chat right now, and let me take a look at it here. Oh my God. Jeez, I missed so much. Holy crap. I didn't realize there were this many people here. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, we saw that. Jared's in the chat. What's up, Jared? Justin's in the chat. What's going on? Scott is in the chat. Blaze is in the chat. Jared says the old order on Netflix is the truth. All right, we'll check that out. That's why we have to vote Biden and defund them, Matt Sullins says. Keith Baroni says defunding doesn't mean no police. It means creating more centers for homeless, mental patients, social services, etc. And let's police actually do police work. And that's what I was trying to get at, Keith. Is like that's exactly the problem. Is the police have now been the police are now doing work that has nothing to do with fucking police. And like, but we do understand, of course, that transition has been going on for some time. Like you put people who use drugs in jail, you're already doing work with the law that has nothing to do with the fucking law, or shouldn't have anything to do with the law. So like, they've been implanting like people who use drugs are criminals. And it's like, all right, well, okay, I can see us already going in the wrong direction here. Just culturally going in the wrong direction in terms of what we deem a criminal and what's not a criminal. I also want to say what's up to Robert Kelly, who's in the chat, man. To stay the fuck at home, man. Our buddy, dude. Matt Sullins, nope, get rid of them all. Taylor, we've been defunding schools for years, but God forbid the police can't get their third tank.
I actually find it super ironic that the police support, the dissolving of unions based on their capitalistic overlords, but the second that it starts to affect them, they just start freaking out.
Yeah. Dude, you ever see these pictures of like cops doing like donuts in tanks and shit, and they're like having a blast, and it's like, yeah. First off, I can see why that's fun. I'm right there. If I had a fucking tank, that's what I would do too. But you shouldn't be calling people who are trained to kill in certain situations, man. You just shouldn't. And a lot of cops now, remember when we were kids, right? When we were kids, the joke was cops ate donuts and they're all fat. And like people are trying to do that joke now, but I'm sorry, that joke doesn't hold up anymore. Cops are fucking sculpted monsters now. Huh?
It was a 14-year-old that was running away from the police, got shot in the back or something like that. He was like crawling underneath something. He didn't have a weapon at all.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wait a minute, guys. Like, so now the cops are shooting at people that are just running away. Like,
well, they've been doing that for a
run
while.
away from the police all the time.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, man. The other thing I don't understand from the general public is why do you want cops on board who do that? Like, you should be mad too. Like, if you're not mad, you're supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to trust and have faith in your authority figures. But like, and that's what. And if people out there who are watching this want to know why you get called a racist all the time, it's because you should be mad when a citizen gets killed by an authority who's supposed to be protecting us, unarmed and under circumstances that should never require death. But when it's a black person and suddenly your opinion, it goes, well, I don't know, maybe. Like, it's not okay under any circumstance, no matter who the fuck it is, dude.
Yeah, I think you're hitting a nail on the fucking head, dude. That's legit. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Like it's yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's ultimately what I think the problem is, right, if you really look at it, the whole argument about systemic racism, people look at it just as a here and now kind of thing. Like they want to apply it to the situation that's happening. They automatically dismiss that conversation about whether or not there's systemic racism because we're applying it to that specific shooting or that particular riot or protest or whatever's going on. And the reality is, at the very core of it, that's what we're talking about. That's what people are talking about when you say systemic racism. Exactly the point you were just making at its core. Why is it not just outraged that it happens? Forget the color. The systemic racist part is that you're thinking color, and color is going to either sway a public opinion or divide people. And at the end of the day, you know, that systemic part is that's a fucking.
Okay, so
That's a
I
problem.
agree with you 100%, but I am so well versed in deflection now that I know that the response from the other side, which to quote Stones, there's another side. I can't believe there's another side. What they're going to say to you is that's what I'm saying, man. All lives matter. And they're gonna think that they're agreeing with you, and we have a big like cognitive dissonance problem too, where you can say that and I go, yeah, that makes sense, you're right, and then somebody who doesn't think like that acts like they're agreeing with you, but they're like you're here and they're either here or here. It's not exactly lined up, but they're trying to make it sound like it does.
It's absurd to think that the socioeconomic status of people of color has not been affected by systemic racism throughout generations, and it's been generational, and that people that are poorer are affected much more brutally by the justice system than people that are wealthier. It's really that goddamn simple.
It is literally that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
That's simple.
It just
Lack of
sucks
empathy.
that because under normal circumstances, right, under normal financial equality, not equality socialism, I mean like the curve that people assume that it is, where you have uber wealthy, then you have wealthy, and you have a sweet ass middle class, and then you got this small kind of poverty line where there's poor people. That's not the motherfucking case. This shit looks like plebeians and patricians in ancient Rome. It's like poverty is 90% and 10% is a conglomerate of
But
uber rich people and people that are well-to-do, and that's fucking it. Everyone lives paycheck to paycheck. Everyone has fucking $8 in their goddamn saving account,
Right.
and people don't think that. They don't think that. And even the people that are just a step above that in the social class then start to view people below them as dog shit.
She
and
says that all the
interpret
time. We talk about
it's
that all the
fucking
time.
sad, man. It's like, you know, if it's the kind of like keep up with the Joneses mentality, but applied to almost every fucking thing. And
Yeah.
it's kind of terrifying because people who are in, let's say people are in the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in savings bracket, right? You've saved $500,000. To a normal person, that's a lot of fucking money. To an uber rich person, that isn't fucking, that's pocket fucking change.
Dude, they say that if
And
you
the people
if you made $1,000 an hour since Jesus Christ was born, you wouldn't have as much money as
As a
fucking
Fortune
Jeff
500
Bezos.
CEO?
As Jeff Bezos.
Right.
And they're like, dude, like you wouldn't only not have as much money as him, you'd still be way off. I don't think people understand how.
And not only that, you'd be more likely to be one of the guys that killed him.
What do you mean?
One of the people that put Jesus to death, not one of the people hanging out with him.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. I get what you're saying. Right. Yeah. If you're one of the rich people, you'd be more than likely because he's stepping on your game. They don't like poor people who step up and tell other poor people to stand up for themselves. That's why every fucking hero we have has been shot.
Because
Like-
do you understand how many people are actually fucking poor? That's the thing. You don't have to be homeless to be poor. You don't have to be on Section 8. You don't have to be
Right.
on assisted living. You don't have to be on any of that stuff to be poor. People who think they're not poor because they have enough money to spend every day is someone who's still poor. Like I'm not poor,
Right.
right?
But if I didn't get paid this morning, Rob, I wouldn't eat this weekend.
Right. If I'm at where I'm at and I'm okay and I'm comfortable and I'm happy and I don't have an issue with things, what's one paycheck less below me? And if that's the fucking poverty line and I have a prestigious title to my career, like granted we do what we do in our lives, but like I don't spend a shit ton of fucking money.
But the American stance is, oh, you're one paycheck behind me? Fuck you. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, bitch.
Listen, and there's some credence. There's some credence to doing your due diligence to be an adult and grow up and do what you want. But there's also levels of what people need in life to really be happy.
Yeah.
I get a tremendous amount of happiness. I don't need to own tons of fucking things. I don't need to spend tons of money. I live right at that comfortability line. And I worked my ass off to fucking get there. I spent a lot of fucking money to do it. I don't have too much debt left in my life. It took me years to pay it off. But let me tell you something, man. I am nowhere near where I'm like, let me just drop whatever I want whenever I want it. And I don't care.
Yeah.
People care about that shit.
Yeah.
People, like, I get my happiness and my concerns, kind of quenched by human interaction and travel. Like that's it, man. And I don't have to spend a whole lot of money to fucking do that. I don't have to
Now imagine if you were arrested and you got charged with resisting arrest and a felony protest charge and terrorism and all this other shit. Right. Then what? How could you defend yourself?
Everything you have goes away.
Absolutely not. The system against you. That's it.
Right.
Dude,
right?
look what COVID-19 did to people. Look at the last few months we've been doing this show.
People are animals, bro. People
fell behind a little bit because this country, the greatest country in the world, was not prepared to take care of its citizens. And again, this is not Republican, Democrat. All of us have put something into this system. Where the fuck is it all? Where is it?
It's in Halliburton's pocket.
Right. Or it's Donald Trump giving it away to banks fucking 4 days before quarantine starts, or him spending your money to play golf. And it's all of them, dude. It's Barack Obama buying a $10,000 fucking suit with your money. Like, it's across the board, man. We have no fucking political heroes, dude. And the ones we do have get shit on and buried underneath the fucking surface to the point where they can't get anything done.
That's what I was saying in the beginning of the fucking pandemic, man. I was like, there's not one hospital that has any PPE. There's not one hero. There's not one CEO anywhere that had the foresight from the 80s of the AIDS epidemic that where all the PPE disappeared, that this wasn't going to happen again. Like, there's not one fucking hero, not one. And it's the same exact shit in politics. It's just like so what are we doing?
Give a fuck about us.
What are we doing?
As long as there's enough of us to shine their shoes and build their fucking roads. And dude,
everyone's expected to contribute to each other, except when it comes to actually giving a shit about each other. Right. Things that are important. Dude, there's more money to be made in division and racism and keeping people's knees on people's necks, literally, than there is in helping one another. That's fucking twisted.
Yeah.
It's fucking twisted.
Sure. And they cultivate a culture of that. And then people respond to that culture by being violent or selling drugs or doing a lot of different things, and then they go to jail for it. And it's like, dude, you guys realize that poor people don't own anything, right? Like, poor people don't make any fucking decisions. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's just under the same fucking thumb. It's not, poor people didn't create this fucking situation. We didn't create this fucking culture. But you get jailed for it. You get jailed for trying to thrive in it. When I think about the fact that, like, still in 2020, your local weed dealer could go to prison for 20 fucking years, but you got Trump pardoning these fucking sinister fucking assholes, dude. How is anybody supposed to believe in, if there's any reason at all in the world why I sympathize at all, I mean at all, with anti-mask people, which I don't at all, really, who the fuck could blame them for not trusting anything they're told?
I could,
Oh, I believe-
because it's fucking simple science. I'm sorry. Like,
No,
if someone-
and I
if some-
understand that.
If like
No,
a million people were just stupidly screaming 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4, like, I should take it upon myself to fucking learn that it does. Like, it takes a minimum amount of science to know any barrier is better than no barrier in protecting yourself and others. And no, it's not 100%, but neither is a condom, and people still fucking use them. So,
Yep.
like, yeah, like, no matter how much you hear, if you're choosing to believe that and not be educated on it, even to the slightest degree, then you're part of the problem, because you're probably picking it because it fits you politically.
No. I completely
It's
agree
more
with you on that. I completely agree with
We're only
that. My
resist-
point is I don't blame. I blame people for what you said. I don't blame people for their baseline being, I don't believe anything I'm told anymore. How many times can you get fucked over?
No, I think you're absolutely you're absolutely right. You're both combined. The two of you are right. It's both sides of that argument. There's people who just have been so fucking jaded. You know, there's a lot of people from the 80s and 90s that just have an anti-governmental stance. They just are they're fucking jaded. Their elections have been fucked up and rigged. Problems have come up with the electoral votes, so on and fucking so forth. And you know, they doubt the government. We live in a world of untruth. They think everybody's lying. They think everybody's full of shit. They've taken all of their rights, Democrat, Republican. It doesn't fucking matter. The system's fucked up. But then the other side of the coin is that those people could have taken time to fucking investigate those things. And that's part of the problem. The lack of just critical thinking and understanding, or at least somewhat trying to get intelligence that she's talking about, combined with the idea that you've been jaded and fucked over either by the legal system or by what you've seen with politicians or what you've seen with government. All those things add up to a point where nobody gives a fuck anymore. They're going to fucking say what they want. They're going to believe what they want. And that's the end of the fucking day inside these little cults of lack of knowledge. And the smart people are going to be the real fucking assholes who have been indoctrinated into a system. And it's fucked up, man, because we're all living the same hell. We're all in the same slave game.
Smart people are always the assholes because they're the ones who are telling you the truth that you don't want.
Yeah.
They're telling you what you don't want to hear. Dude, it's like we keep talking about it in this show, man. Facts have become liberal.
Yes.
You're liberal if you.
100%.
It's
Yeah.
like, dude, what are you talking? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what, guys? I just want to hit the chat one more time because I'm way behind and there's a lot of people in it. What is that? Okay, let's see here. Oh my god. There's so many comments. I missed everything here. Dude, okay, we saw that. Nope. Get rid of them all. Yep. Let's see. We were born naked. It's nobody's business. Paul is in the chat. What's up, man? Flooding the poor communities with police instead of social services is that Clinton shit. Of course, there'll be more arrests. They're poor. Let's see. You can learn without college. Robert Kelly says. Key says, and you've put more police in their neighborhood in situations where they are making desperate decisions to survive. Of course, you're going to make arrests. And let me say something else about that too. When Ferguson happened, I remember people bitching about Ferguson, and you always hear the same. Look, man, conservatives, man. Not that I had much respect for conservatives in general as it was, but like their integrity is completely shot to me at this point. Like they're the first
They
ones
said
to
that
scream.
the average household in Ferguson had 3 warrants. 3
Right.
warrants.
Now
per
hold on.
household.
Now hold on. Here's another point about Ferguson that's important to this particularly. Ferguson, I believe, had somewhere around a 98 to 99% black population. Their police force in Ferguson had somewhere around a 98 to 99% white police force, which means you no longer have people from the community actively engaging in the community. You have a fucking occupation is what you have, right? So when he's talking about, and you put more police in their neighborhood in situations where they're making desperate decisions to survive, of course you're going to have more arrests. That's exactly fucking right, man. That's exactly right. How can white cops from the outside of this neighborhood or the outside of this city who don't live with the struggles of this city ever come in here and respond to the city in a way where the people of that city are going to have respect, who are going to believe in their police, who are going to actually think that someone is there to help them. And that's the other problem I have, is I just don't think that police forces are born anymore with the idea of serve and protect. Serve and protect, but serve and protect who? Jeff Bezos? Like, the rest of us seem expendable. We seem easy to put into legalized slavery. It just seems like that shit that we grew up with, where it was like your social security number is what makes you just a number. Well, holy shit, man, we are just a fucking number out here. Some of our numbers are looked at a little bit more forgivingly than others, but that's really what the fuck is going on, you know? And again, but Keith's got a great point, man. What do you do in those desperate situations? What do you do? Dude, when that dude was selling loose cigarettes in the fucking corner, which I think it turned out he wasn't even fucking doing, but let's say he was. Who gives a shit, man? Like, if that's what you're doing, if a man is standing on a street, a grown man is standing on a street corner selling loose cigarettes, we have a bigger fucking problem than selling loose cigarettes. We have a grown man on the street desperate enough to sell loose cigarettes. That should be where people step in to help, not step in to choke the motherfucker to death.
Yeah.
Do you guys understand what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
It pisses me off, dude. Like that it's not.
But the debate's never about that, though, Rick. It's never about that. It's always, oh, well, if you weren't breaking the law, you wouldn't have these problems. And it's like, yeah, but you know,
Right.
How many fucking laws, how much struggle if someone's trying to put bread on the
It
fucking
comes
table.
from a place of criticism from people that live in a totally other, having
Yeah,
a
different
total,
world.
like a totally other experience of life. Like,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, I don't remember who wrote it. I don't remember who was talking about it, but I feel like it was an interview that someone had with AOC, and they said, and you're trying to, you know, fight to defund police around the country. In your world, what does defunding the police look like? And she was like, well, you know, the good thing is you don't need my imagination to come up with what it looks like to have less police presence in everyday lives. All you have to do is look at rich white communities. They have properly funded schools, properly funded health services, properly funded this. She's like, it's not police. So we already have a pretty good picture of what a defunded police actually looks like, because it exists. And that's the point, is like, you have people that are sitting there criticizing this totally other fucking universe, and they have no right to fucking do so. They just don't. Like, any one of them, even the fucking politicians that are talking about the people in the places they're supposed to represent, have no idea who they're representing and what those people need. There's such a gap. And it's like, at this point, I just feel like, go and live someone's life that like has to choose between going to the doctor and paying their rent, and make that choice and figure out how to fucking survive after that.
I've often said part of police training, like part of becoming a police officer, you should be anonymously put in jail for 2 months. The same thing with judges and lawyers. That everybody in the justice system should experience what jail is like, but have it where it's an anonymous entrance into that jail, to experience it, to understand where you're putting people and what that actually means to people, because everyone's so far removed from it.
That's a really great idea.
Well, certainly not the people that own the fucking places. I mean, that's certainly not the people that are profiting off of that.
Right, you talk about prison owners, the fact you could open a prison these days sounds like big business.
I mean, the two best businesses you can be in is banking and imprisonment, especially in the United States.
Oh, United States, our number one export is scrap metal now.
You think?
Isn't that wonderful?
If I wanted to make $1 billion like overnight, man, I'd buy a jail.
Buy a jail, right?
if I hit the lottery tomorrow and I made like, let's say, when they do those fucking things where people are like, oh, I'll buy a NASCAR team, I'll buy a fucking helicopter, I'll buy a mansion, whatever the fuck.
Right.
But you know what I would do? I'd open a fucking bank,
Yeah.
and I would take my $600 million and loan it out to whoever wanted it at fucking 12% interest, and in 5 years, I'd be the biggest fucking branch possible.
That's it.
If I stayed open 12 hours a fucking day, and just allowed people to take money off the residual income right off that fucking investment.
That's it.
I'm a fucking billion. That's banking. It's banking. And you know what? I'm going to take your money when you give it to me, and I'll take a small percentage of it, and I'll put it into the stock market and play Russian roulette with it. And
Right.
hopefully we'll make even more money. And then I'll make a fuckload of money with your money. You'll keep your money. You'll make it. It's a fucking joke.
Welcome
It's a joke,
to
dude.
a rich man's world and a rich man's game. Because people talk, well, it's fair. It's fair. You just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Except no, you don't.
No.
Except there are people who are at the top who are constantly manipulating the rules, who are constantly undercutting the fucking rules, who have the money to buy the best lawyers. Dude, lawyers shouldn't cost money, man. That's
Not
another
crowd.
fucking thing. Lawyers should not. I don't know who should pay them or whatever, but like,
Right.
I watched a documentary on Jeffrey Epstein recently, and as soon as the fucking people who were in that legal battle said, the problem is Jeffrey Epstein had money for the best lawyers in the country, I was like, what the fuck do the best lawyers in the country, have to do with this? Either he did this or he didn't fucking do this. So like, so what it means is if I'm above this bracket, I am actually above the law. It's just not obvious. It's just not outright. It's like this underhanded backdoor way of being above the law. I know.
Well, in other countries, they have a sliding scale on fines based off of your income, but good fucking luck trying to impose that here.
Well, don't break the law, Stones. Just don't break the law. No matter how dumb, no matter how stupid the
Motherfuckers don't
fucking
even
law
know
is.
They don't even know what the law is half the fucking time. Can I just say what's up?
I had a boss years ago that used to double park in New York City outside of. He was going to get certifications for his company, and he would double park every day and just pay the fine because he was like, it's easier just to pay the fine than to find a good parking spot. And it's just like, yeah, it must be nice to fucking say just fuck it and here's fine money, and nobody else has.
Yeah.
I don't have that fucking luxury, motherfucker. Like that's the thing. It's a different set of rules for people like that because they'll just oh well, fuck it. It's not going to affect me. So
Dude,
that's the problem.
Let me just say hi to Matt because I'm not sure that his Skype is working. Matt, are you there?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm here.
You are there.
Where you been the whole time, man? What the fuck?
I've been talking.
Oh, dude, this is the first time I actually heard you. I was like,
That's
oh
the
shit.
first time I've heard you since even before we went on air.
Yeah,
And he's
I've
talking.
been here.
There he is. What are you doing?
Good now.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're there. By the way, just for people who are watching tonight we're dropping a new song by Team Rockasset with Ray Strife, by the way. So I'm excited to fucking do that. We're gonna do that in a little while.
I want to say what's up to Dan Lang in the chat and Mike Campos, man. I've known both those guys for a long fucking time, and I hope if they're still in here and they're still watching what's going on, that they contribute to some of this conversation, because I know that both those guys, they've been through a couple of life experiences, and we always like sharing those kind of conversations and what they've dealt with. And
Good. I'm actually gonna roll through some more of the comments. Robert Kelly, most of my learning was done by reading. Absolutely, man. Taylor Elizabeth, yes, you can, but not stricter disciplines. The law of nursing. I'm sorry, that was a while ago. I'm trying to get caught up. Books are good for you. Books are good for everybody. Like if you're a fucking big ass motherfucker mixing cement for a fucking living, you should be reading too, and going to plays and musicals and all this other shit. Be both. Let's see. You can apply to the bar without a jury's degree. COVID is fake news. I feel like that's a joke. Please be joking or suffering from severe head trauma. That's what Justin said. You must pass the electricity's exam to have the license. Jason Ernst is in there. What's up, little Jay? How's it going, man? I have more respect. That's from you, Rob. Janine is in the chat. Hi, Janine. How's it going? It's mostly technique and figuring with tile. Thank you, Robert Kelly. I did tile for over 10 years, man. And let me tell you something. Whenever I see even the most minor of mistakes, I'm like, ugh. Justin, I cleaned tile floors professionally for the better part of 2 decades. I've done construction and many other types of, quote, manual labor in my lifetime. I also have a BS in psychology from NYU and a 157 IQ. People who don't attempt both are simply wasting potential, dude. And I feel like that in a lot of ways in life too. Like I also feel like okay, to be clear, bullying is not to be tolerated under any circumstance, and you never fucking blame the victim for being bullied. However, I also feel like as a parent and as a person, it would probably behoove you to take some martial arts classes and learn how to defend yourself. I never felt more confidence in my life than when I started taking boxing lessons. I think that really changed my life in a lot of positive ways.
Here's where the law's on my side with that one there, bud. So I'm blind in the one eye, and I got the whole half an eye going on the other side. So
cry me a river, Stones.
Well, no, I mean, I carry a knife with me everywhere, and if anybody tries to fuck with me, I just, that's that. I'm completely in the legal right.
And Stones,
to
you know
do
what you said
that.
before about sliding scales?
Yeah, that's a sliding scale.
That's a sliding
man.
scale
Yeah.
defense. Yeah, you know what I mean. If you're 75% blind, I think you should be able to use a knife. If you and me box, you should be able to hold a knife. Let's see. Robert Kelly. Not everyone is a polymath. I don't even know what that means as an English guy. I have no idea.
Like a polygamist, like a poly, like multiple.
I don't know. Where'd Rob?
Oh,
dude,
yes.
did Rob Marchi freeze? Is he gone?
Rob.
Rob, refresh, dude. I don't know what's going on. I want to make sure we get him back in here. I'm going to keep reading through the comments till he comes back. We all command power beyond that of ancient kings and knowledge beyond your kin. You know what, Robert? Part of the thing that gets me really a lot lately is the fact that we have access to infinite knowledge, yet we have some of the dumbest motherfuckers alive walking around right now with the loudest voices. It's amazing.
You
to me.
say right now, though, man. Like I think they were.
Okay,
always
hold on, no,
there.
but let me clarify before you criticize what I said. The more knowledge becomes available, and the more availability there is for people to be smart, the more it seems to be a push to make stupid people louder or stupid ideas louder.
I'll tell you something that I read that I thought was pretty interesting too was that the anti-vaxxers are typically educated people that have a lot of free time to read these conspiratorial, writings about the stuff. And that's the main reason for the anti-vax movement is that you have a section of the population that's educated enough to not have to work, 90 hours a week to make ends meet. So they have all this time to read all this bullshit.
Like, oh, shit. So what I thought about that war was totally all wrong then. It was started by clowns. What the
It's an
Go ahead, Matt. What were you going to say?
It's just a general empathy problem that we have going on right now. I think it boils just down to empathy. A lot of people with the things that are going on right now don't give a shit or don't want to give a shit because they've never been through it.
I really agree with you there, dude. Go ahead.
Like
It's one of the features of a downfall of society is when the self becomes so much worth more than the community. That's always been part of it's always been a staple in the American system, but Stones,
you're 100% right, dude. Not only has it been a staple in the American system, but like you know, you start to realize that people don't give a fuck about other people who are affected by things that they're not affected by. Like if they open a new building and the building's not handicap accessible, you know who gives a shit? Handicapped people and their fucking caretakers do. And that's fucked up. Everybody should be worried about that. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
What was Matt saying? Matt was going to continue with something. What were you going to say?
Oh, sorry, man.
No, I just like I don't. The rich white town's not gonna have the same level of perspective with the cops as a poor town, because it's more enforced in the poor town. So people in the rich town are going, oh well, that doesn't happen here, so it's not a problem that we see every day. So why the fuck should we care?
Yeah,
we're not breaking the law, so why are you?
Well, I think that also that's not just the rich towns anymore. I think that's part of the problem. I think part of the problem is that it's not just, you know, from a perspective or a viewpoint. I think it's based on media. Now, like I was saying, with people who think that they're above where they really are financially or in certain class, that we've designated classes to it, that people who are not too far off from the people who are causing the problems in their eyes, or how the media covers it, think the same thing. They don't get it. They just have someone to blame. They got someone to look at and go, oh, that person's fucking terrible. When in reality, they're no different. They're no different. They're the same people.
Rob, I once had a professor tell me that he believed that any person was actually capable of anything. It just all depended on the circumstances.
Without a doubt.
Listen,
if you think that the human person... Bro, you think that anybody, Stones, before you even say anything, I'm going to leave you with it, and I want to know what you have to say. But if you think that humans, right, humans who are fucking animals, right, who have just been taught civility and whatever the fuck you want to call it, if you think that humans are not capable individually of doing every single fucking bad thing or good thing that they could, as long as they're swayed by shit, and when you're talking, it sounded to me as if you were talking about in terms of the worst case scenarios, that somebody who is the best person you've ever met, under the right circumstances, could do the most fucked up shit you could never think that person could ever do.
For sure.
Anybody.
For sure.
The board, anybody can be pushed to that level of either necessity or extremity where you're like, that's not the person I've known.
Yeah.
They can.
See, I was
And
thinking
by
more
the
along
way,
lines of,
guys,
like,
I'm sorry not to cut you. I just
professional
don't want to miss
athletes.
the point. But trading places, sort of the second message to that is exactly that. It's exactly that. Look at the way Winthorpe acts.
Watch how quick Winthrop becomes Lewis. And in the view of human society, Lewis.
Yep.
With the goddamn salmon in his mouth.
Absolutely.
And a fucking
Absolutely. And look at Eddie Murphy in that movie, too. He comes from the street. He's poor. And then one night he's throwing a party in his new house and he goes, look at these motherfuckers ruining my house. And he throws them all the fuck out.
limousine out there. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Who's putting their butts out on my fucking carpet? Get the fuck out.
Exactly. The fuck out of here. Right.
Oh, this is my vase.
Right. And he's the dude pretending he doesn't have legs to beg for money. You know, under utterly, completely different circumstances. You could do anything under the right amount of pressure and damage.
In essence, is fucking genius. If you really want to take it apart psychologically and sociopolitically, that whole idea, and that movie's what, 25 years old? Like that movie's forever
older.
And hasn't really changed. It's not gotten worse, and it would be the same outcome in today's world. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's gotten worse or if it's become brighter and louder.
Normalized into a point where there's been opposition vocally about it.
Dude, I can't believe the amount of horrible shit that's been normalized. And I wanted to go back for a minute to something you said. Speaking of normalized, is we were talking earlier about politics and the shit that people are willing to accept. And in this last primary election, the amount of fucking reports I've heard about mail-in votes that have been hidden dumped in the garbage, found in
Yeah.
a secret room. And I can't believe that I'm not affected by the news anymore when I hear that. I go,
Yep.
oh, again? Oh,
Rick.
again? Oh, nobody's
Rick.
going to do anything about that again? Oh,
You know what's even worse than that? You're talking about mail-in votes in an election year where somebody's like, oh, we're hearing about hidden election votes. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and the White House just took over the reports of COVID from the CDC, which means at this point, they could just fucking lie whenever they want. And
Well, I mean, they
When
could
you-
also just kidnap you in a van, apparently. So
well, the point is, at the end of the day, what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, you combine the fucking two of them, and you're just kind of like, well, I guess this is all just, if you are at a point where you understand it, let's put it this way. What you said earlier about people who are doubting things in an untruth world where people are consistently thinking everything's a conspiracy theory. Let's take all the conspiracy theorists, right? Let's take those people. Let's take the people that are on the fringe of lunacy about things that are going on and connecting dots to things that we can't even comprehend. Then let's take the uber intelligent people, or what we perceive to be intelligent people, who have read all the books, understand language, understand history, psychology, sociology, all that shit. Think about how much of the percentage is left. Do you understand what I mean? Think about how much
yeah.
of the percentage of Americans are left.
Yeah, I think about
It's
that actually all the
still-
time.
It's still like 60% of the population.
Yeah.
Okay? So even the people that are on the extreme of understanding shit and the people that really understand shit is 60% left of the population that doesn't understand any of that shit.
Right.
You couldn't tell a cynical joke to them. You couldn't tell anything that has to do with satire without them not knowing or thinking that you're trying to offend them.
Sure.
Think about those
Sure.
populations. And it's not meant to be anything anti-American or anti-against the people of which the country I live. It's the reality of the education level.
I gotta tell you, man, dude, I miss the days of choosing to not be politically engaged. That was a luxury that I didn't even know was a luxury, but that's also part of the problem of why we're here now, is that so many of us had that opportunity to ignore anything
Sure.
that was going on in politics.
And here's what's fucked up about that too is I 100% agree with you. But then when I look like I think back to periods of time in my life where politics almost seemed invisible, and I was like, God, that was nice. We didn't even hear about
Yeah.
that. But then Stones. Then I find out that the majority of the problems when it comes to, like, for example, the private prison system.
It all
from
happened during that
fucking
era,
Clinton.
right? Yeah.
For that, so
Yeah.
so again, it happened to a neighborhood that wasn't my neighborhood, to people of
Right.
color who aren't my color, and so I didn't notice it was happening, especially at a time when the internet didn't exist.
Isn't it hard? Isn't it hard? I'm going to say that everybody in this chat that we're talking in right now, right? We've all lived through the Reagan administration, the Clinton administration. Who's the oldest person in here?
I think me.
I don't know.
I'm 41.
You're 41.
Yeah.
So you were born under the Carter administration?
No, I was born on
I'm sorry.
Jesus. Maybe I don't know what year was the first president I can
Reagan
remember
came
is
in
Reagan.
80, I think.
I'm trying to do
80.
math. Sorry, it's fucking
First
11
president I
o'clock.
remember
Reagan
is
was
Reagan.
1980.
Yeah, 81.
Yeah.
Well, he was.
Yeah, so I guess
he was
I-
elected in 1980.
No, what
yes.
I'm saying is I'm 81, so I was born during the Reagan administration.
Sure. So I must have been born during Carter, I guess.
Yeah, you're Carter. Stones, where are you?
I'm Reagan.
Okay, so you think about the administrations that we've been through and the things that we like when we were in. I mean, to say collectively, Rick, you're still in the same. Like we're in the matter of 2 or 3 years apart from each other, right?
Right.
So like you lived during the Gulf War, you lived during the Rodney King beating,
Yep.
you lived during the OJ trial. I
Yep.
remember watching all of that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, but wait,
believe-
hold on. The Rodney
Wait, let
King
him finish,
beating,
let him
man.
finish.
Like I went back and I rewatched it. I watched a documentary called 92, and it was about the Rodney King beating. And I don't remember a lot of that fucking footage. Like that documentary had a lot of speeches. Also, it's almost like we're on fucking repeat with a lot of the shit that went on with.
Well,
fucking
yeah,
Rodney.
no. That's what I mean. Like we grew up in an area where the drug fucking thing with DARE in the schools, the policies by Reagan, and then Bush coming in, the war in the Middle East, right? Peace in the Middle East. That's all we knew. Peace in the Middle East, and we knew who was running the shit because you had Schwarzkopf, Norman Schwarzkopf, right? Was the general, and he was in the news all the time. We were in like 5th or 6th or 7th grade at that time, and the shit had come out, and you knew to support your country because of nationalism. At least I did. That's when I realized I was kind of intelligent, right? Like I didn't realize that I'm not fucking smart. I'm a fucking idiot. But the reality is I understood what was going on. In 5th and 6th grade,
Sure.
I knew what was going on in the world. Now I could tell you, a lot of people in my grade, why would they care about that in 5th grade? Like I listened to it. I watched it on the television. I watched the OJ chase, and the shit fucking affected my mindset in a way where I don't think people really realize that. That's not normal for somebody who's like 10 years old.
Sure.
And that's when you know you're going in a different, you're going down a different road. But if you stayed with that, right? And I feel like a majority of the people that we've done this show with and the guests that we've had understood that those things stuck with you, right? They stuck with you. And as you started to learn other things, you didn't forget that shit. I think there's a very gray area where everybody comes together and it's like, yeah, we understand this information, but we interpret it crazily different. Like when it comes to Trump, when it comes to 9/11, when it comes to the things that affected us that are the big kind of changing parts of our lives that we'll talk to our kids and our grandkids about one day. We lived incredibly different lives.
Yeah.
And in more than most people did, because the generations before us, they had a kind of intermingling, but everything also was very compartmentalized. It was black and white, it was urban, and it was residential. And for us, there's so much shit going on, and there's so many different people and so much awareness and so much crazy shit that to a conservative person, that's fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah, but it wasn't though. We didn't grow up in it. I think now the generation now that's growing up in it is going to have a much more.
I think you're seeing that slow deterioration of care. I think you're seeing a slow deterioration of concern that our generation has that our parents certainly fucking did not, and our grandparents certainly did not. It's slow. It's an evolution, man. And
our generation is so full of hypocrites too.
Our generation's a fucking clown show.
Fucking hypocrites, dude.
It's fucking terrible because you were either on one side of the coin or the other in terms of how you were brought up.
Dude, but I noticed it years ago when people were criticizing millennials left and right, and I was like, I grew up in a generation where we had. It was the first generation that truly mixed hip hop, heavy metal, and punk and all these things together. And that meant something back then because it meant that the cultures were intermingling. And there was something that we were supposed to learn about one another, about the world, about baby boomers, about things we weren't going to fucking copy. And then I see people that are around our age just acting like the same baby boomers they fucking criticized their whole lives growing up, dude. Like, what a fucking entire generation of fucking hypocrites, man.
I don't understand those people, though. I don't understand those people because I understand being a product of your own upbringing and a product of your household, but I don't understand going to a school, having the opportunity. Most of these people are college educated. And the thing is that they come out and I don't know whether it's a product of environment and a product of upbringing that you end up back, in the conversations of your family and whatever else it may be that impacts your train of thought. But once you've been given the idea of reality and facts beyond what you knew coming out of high school, how the fuck do you interpret anything differently? I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. And I kind of get to a point where I don't want to sound as an extreme person, but like I consider myself extremely moderate in the way that I interpret the world that it is and understanding the history. But I went to college for a lot of years. I took a lot of classes. Most of it I was either high or drunk, so like it wasn't like I was really a fucking bookworm until I got to my end of my bachelor's degree and then into my master's and so on, and son of a bitch, and so on and so forth. But, you know, in reality, you either want to learn or you don't want to learn.
Right.
And it get to a point where you can't interpret what's really fucking happening from the fringe crazy shit and what's good for everybody as a human being. None of that shit takes a college degree.
No.
You know, you're learning the information at college to learn additional anecdotal stuff.
But I will add to that though that college helps those things. Like I feel like
oh, it's a progression, Rick.
Like I grew up in a family where I had 3 cousins that were half Japanese, 3 cousins that were half Puerto Rican, 2 half cousins that are black, and like, but that still didn't open my eyes up to the real world and the reality that people go through. You know, and being in college and having that opportunity to travel and intermingle and talk to people, like that's what really fucking opened my eyes. And if there's anything that makes me fucking upset that college is as expensive as it is I think that those eye-opening experiences make for a better world. They make for a more empathetic world. And I wish that was more available to everyone, dude.
Don't you think over the years of you playing in a band,
yeah,
and traveling from place to place, you didn't even have to go on a big tour. You're just playing shows, right? You encountered people that normally, if you went, you know, let's say you played a show a half an hour away.
Sure.
Who the fuck drives a half an hour away out of their house on a daily basis? You know what I mean? And if you drove an hour and 20 minutes, let's say you drove 3 hours. Let's say you drive to Florida, or you drive to the West Coast. You know how many people have never ever done that in their life?
Absolutely.
That live in a 1 mile radius from your house.
Sure.
You did it, and you encountered somebody who maybe made a small meal for them, or you and your band on a fucking stovetop in their house, in their trailer, wherever it may be. You might have slept in your car, you might have stayed in a hotel, but you came across people over the course of your time playing in a band. Probably the best experience of my life, and I really reflected on it. But like, what I'm getting to is the fact that people do that do not leave their domain. The people that don't leave their general circle of convenience will never understand how other people live. They will never understand the issues that people, like, when it comes down to the decisiveness of our country, when we're talking about the flag, our interpretation of the flag, the concept of who matters, who doesn't matter, all of those are relative to where you live, what you've encountered in your experiences. If you get in your car and you drive 45 minutes, an hour, 3 hours out of your comfort zone, you're going to realize real fucking quick your flag means nothing the way you interpret it. Right. It affects people differently. So you may wave a Blue Lives Matter flag. You may wave a military friendship flag. You may wave a Black Lives Matter flag. You know, all of those things are different for people in different areas. Sometimes they have not experienced what it is that you see on the media. The problem is empathy. There isn't any. There's no empathy.
None.
So you may live in New Jersey and never, ever encounter that shit. And you could watch the media about Missouri, Chicago, Ohio, and you go, wow, look at the fucking murder rates. You don't know a goddamn thing about living there.
100%.
Take a trip there for 6 days. Stay there for 6 days.
Good
luck. I
luck.
walked the streets of Chicago. Nobody scared me. But at the same way, you could get a sense of, well, if I was living here on a daily basis involved in the bullshit, you could get wrapped up in it real
Absolutely.
quick.
I've been to Chicago, dude. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
Dude, Harlem is beautiful. Philadelphia is beautiful. I love Philadelphia, dude.
Me too.
And it doesn't matter whether it's North Philly, South Philly, Central Philly. They all have their problems.
Harlem's a different world, man. Harlem ain't what it was.
Harlem is gorgeous, but there's a 20 years of people going, don't go to fucking Harlem.
Yeah.
You know, and the reality is people from their own cities won't go to certain boroughs.
Here's what we need. Listen, if you want a better America, what you need is people from Oklahoma City looking at a place like Harlem, far away, completely different world, completely different population, and the people in Oklahoma City need to start looking at Harlem and going, yo, Harlem should be under better circumstances. People should be treated better. Stop it. And then people in Harlem need to look out to fucking, San Francisco and say the same thing. And people from San Francisco need to look at fucking Texas and say the same thing. And I have a hard time with this United States of America bullshit because the word united doesn't seem to mean shit, really.
Well, that's the thing, Rick, is that and I've said it time and time again on the show. You know, there's a idea of having a United States, and the reality is that we are different countries with total different mindsets.
At least three. We're at least three countries here. At least.
We're beyond that. I would go so far as to say about 7.
Wow, that's a lot.
You know, because if you think about it, we have the New England territories, right? Give me 2 seconds, and I'll try to break it down. So, like you've got the New England territories. You've got the idea that there's Massachusetts and Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine. You know, the upper Northeast, and then you have the central kind of Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York areas. But then there's the fringe areas of West Pennsylvania. So you got 1, you got 2, and then you've got upstate New York, and you got a bit of Western Pennsylvania, and you got West Virginia, and you have part of Virginia, and you got a little bit of Tennessee and Kentucky into Ohio territory. And we call that like Northeast areas, right? So that's 3. And then you've got like the Great Lakes region, which you give Wisconsin, all that shit. And then you move into like the Midwest. The Midwest accounts for like a mass amount of those middle states. And then you've got Washington and you've got Seattle like as a mainstay. And then you have the West Coast. Then you get the Southwest, and you've got what we call, you know, like the Republic of Texas and the South. And all of those pieces are broken into such microcosms depending on where they are, right? So everybody is incredibly complex. So while you got about a good 7 or 8 different regions within one country, each state has its own rights. You know, so you've got essentially 50 countries. And those 50 countries are under one flag, and they view themselves so ridiculously separate from what the idea of the federal government is and what that flag represents.
We're all voting for the same president. How the fuck does that work?
It doesn't work.
How can I relate to people in Florida or Texas or Wyoming or Maine or Montana? Like,
when people talk about the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Founding Fathers, you're like, listen, man, I'm going to give you one piece of information here, and that shit happened 250 years ago and has become probably the most corrupt of what those men found logical and understandable. It's way out of their hands. It's beyond what they intended it to be. And the idea is that you don't want to think about saying, let's rewrite a constitution or let's look at the government and change the government, you know, because it's not going to happen. We've destroyed it. The only thing that's going to change it is complete and utter revolution and downfall or invasion. So historically, that's it. If somebody comes here and invades the fucking thing and takes it over, or if we have a civil revolution that destroys the entire government makeup, historically speaking, that's the only 2 things that are optional.
You know, it's funny. I don't know why, but what you said just made me think of it. But the first season of Awesome Talk was 2013, and this guy was our guest, and there was all this talk at that time that Russia was going to invade the United States. And he said this. He went, I feel like Russia's about to be the hero right now because they're about to come in and fucking rescue us by invading us. And now I look at our situation and I go, Jesus, maybe an invasion would fucking save us at this point.
I mean, if you think about it, you know, they're run by a communistic dictator, and you have right now in your office somebody who likes to take authoritarian power. So I mean, it's not that far off from thinking that you could have a world war
100%.
Exists between somebody who's incredibly egotistical about their nationalistic pride from the 1950s and a president who has absolute power in Russia. And then you could probably intertwine East Asia with a lot of that, you know, rhetoric. I don't think the European Union would even interject. It would be a war where that kind of war is a Pacific-style war, which would, you know, I've never really actually talked about all this, but the reality is that, like, if Russia wanted to, they could attack California. They could come into Alaska. They could, you know, there's been past issues between our country and their country when it comes to those territories. So, you know, California and Alaska and Canada could play a massive buffer zone in that, where this wouldn't even affect Europe.
Sure.
We're talking about the two major communistic countries that have a problem, and at the same time, your current administration, which is still there for at least 3 more months, and what I think will probably be 4 more years.
Oh, I know. Rob, I know, man. I listen, man. Stones, we talk about this all the time. I talk to Pat about this all the time. Matt, I talk to you about this all the time. Sarah, I talk to you about this all the time.
Rick, Democrats are not voting for that Democrat.
The problem is that I need to think about the people that I care about and what's going to protect them the most. And it might mean having to vote for somebody who I despise completely and fucking totally now. I might have actually been painted into a corner where I'm willing to do something that my partner's not willing to do because I don't know what else to do. Because they officially pushed us into a fucking... And like, I want to make it abundantly clear that I do not support Joe Biden. I hate Joe Biden is a terrible choice. He is an awful fucking choice. The last 2 elections, we had a great choice, and that great choice got pushed out and cheated out twice. And now they might have won in a way where I have to go, what is going to be the best for the people I care about? Because the progressives that I know could get something done have 0 chance under Donald Trump of getting anything done. But Rick, they might have 10% to a 50% chance of getting something done under Joe Biden. And I do not support Joe Biden or the DNC at any fucking level, period, at fucking all.
At all. But
can I say... what do you guys think when I say that? Like, what am I supposed to do? I can't have 4 more years of Donald Trump. And now, this is the last vote in my entire life. I'm 41 years old, but this is definitely the last vote in my entire life I'll ever be frightened into. If I even decide to go that route.
If you vote.
If I vote. And that breaks my heart to say that more than people think. Like, I get attacked by people on Facebook when I say this kind of shit. Where people like, you better vote for Joe Biden. You better... Dude, fuck you. I don't have to do anything. That's the heart of what it means to be an American. I can vote for whoever the fuck. I can vote for myself. I can vote for Stones if I want. I think Stones would do a better job. But
there's too much dust under my rug.
I feel you, Stones. I feel you. Believe me. I feel you. A lot of dust under the rug.
Dude, your fucking rug is a magic carpet compared to the 2 people running. Don't worry, you're a shoo-in.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the money to combat it. Like they do. But yeah, man, I can't believe how emotionally affected I am by the upcoming election.
The scary part is that if the other guy wins, right? If Trump wins, you're gonna kind of see business as usual. You know what I mean? It's gonna be something that is currently happening, and it's not anything off of what we've seen.
But extrapolate, dude. Extrapolate. What's 4 years from now?
Right. Okay. But I'll come back to it. Give me a second. If Biden wins, the instant apologists and the instant conspiratorial theories about how the DNC ruined Trump's reelection, when the man really isn't doing anything to get reelected. He's not even Trump.
You think the virus is made up now?
I mean, think about what's going to happen, Stones, in October and November, right before the election, when flu season comes back and everybody's sick as shit. And they're going to think that they're going to think that the population, this is what fucking drives me crazy. The population of Americans are going to think that, like, planes dropped more virus on people. Like, that's how crazy people will think, is that come another month from now, when there's a legitimate reason to be concerned about a resurgence of the virus, people are going to go, oh, well, the liberals came out because Trump was running for fucking president. And
Which, by the way, just as a note, past few years I have skipped my flu shot. I am not skipping my flu shot this year.
I haven't taken a flu shot in probably 6 years, and this year I'm getting a flu shot.
I never have.
Well, I'm going to this year because
I'd recommend it, Rick, just to because
Just
I
to
mean
have some
The flu
normal
is not
immunity
COVID-19. It's got nothing to do with it.
yeah, but you don't want both, you dummy.
I'm not going to get either one because I don't leave here.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't
I
leave
travel a
here.
lot,
I
dude.
haven't been face to face with another person in a conversation since March 14th. And let me be clear, today is July 17th, and that shit will continue for as long as it needs to. And I hate it. I miss you guys. I miss you guys so much that when it just left my mouth, I almost cried. That's how much I fucking miss you guys. And I'm
It's
just
sad,
not going to
dude.
be one
It's
of these
sad.
people. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to
I'm
pretend
just
this
saying,
is
man.
over.
You know,
Rick, there's nothing wrong. Like I have watched my parents in their elderly ages get a flu shot, and it benefit them for the last 6-7 years. I'm just telling you that I personally, I've never been into it. I haven't had one since everyone was told to get a flu shot. I can't even imagine the last time I've had a shot other than a tuberculosis test. But for the first time, I think I might actually would just want the immunity to something, because
I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody for doing it.
At least, but I already have like I've been out and I picked up stuff. I've gone to stores. I've taken care of my parents. I've taken stuff to your house. I've dropped it off. Like I have the confidence in the fact that I have the immune system to not really worry about much of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But if I think where Stones is coming from and what he's saying is that, at least a little bit is something at a time where things have now escalated.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, like I said, man, you don't want to get the flu and fucking coronavirus, man.
I don't
like
want
at the same time.
the flu to lead. I don't want the flu to lead to the coronavirus, and I don't want the ramifications of it. I already deal with severe allergies. I already come from a bloodline who
Dude.
has bad allergies and bad respiratory problems.
I'm not
So,
going near anybody. I'm not going in any buildings. I'm not going near any person. It sucks. It hurts. It's. I miss all of you guys.
I don't have that luxury. I don't have that.
I know you
can't
don't.
live
I know you don't, and not everybody does. And again, that's why I say I respect and understand your choices. I'm not disregarding the reason for your choices. Listen, I'm sorry. I want to cut to the chat because the other thing that I want to do. I'm sorry, not to cut you guys off, but like I want to review the chat. And in a couple of minutes, I want to play the new Rock Cassette Ray Strife song, and then I want to come back where we can close out the show. So let me just review some comments. Let's see what we got going on. Adrian Merchant. And so they do. Our cops dedicate a day each month of the school year to play basketball, kickball, etc. with the winning class from our school. During the worst of everything, our cops delivered food to my children while we were at work. I've seen them helping kids fix their cars off duty. Our cops are very good to us. And let me tell you something, Adrian. I love that. I love that. I wish every fucking community experienced that. And the problem is that every community doesn't experience that. Jody's in the chat. What's up? Our heroes, because let's see. Diane's in the chat. What's up? It's not. Let's see. Some things have been sitting there a while, so I'm not sure what they mean. Robert Kelly, serve and protect is BS. The job of the police is to apprehend criminals and preserve order. They serve and protect the government, no doubt. Rose in the chat. Doug's in the chat. Justin, behoove is one of my favorite words. Yes, thank you. Mike Jolitz is in the chat. A polymath is a master of many subjects. I love it. I love it. Mass communication leads to enhanced propaganda. It can, and that's why critical thinking not being a fucking focus is a big fucking problem. Let's see. Just kidding about the F word. Here we go. Self-reliance was an important value to pioneers and early settlers. There were no convenience stores. Absolutely. Stella's in the chat. 100%. John is in the chat. What's up? Let's see. Trading Places is 1985-ish. Jesus Christ. Carter was 76. Let's see. Don't forget the Berlin Wall, the fall of the USSR, MADD, DARE, etc. Cousin Joe's in the chat. What's up? What's good? Just tuning in. Jennifer Burke's in the chat. Ray's in the chat. Lisa's in the chat. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay. Let me fill in the chat. Let me ask you guys something. Matt, you there?
Yeah. Yep.
I want to go to the rock cassette video in about 5 minutes. How's that sound?
That's cool because that's the same time it's going to be going live on, or not live, but the link will be available on YouTube.
Perfect. Perfect. So in 5 minutes, we're going to do that. And then, guys, we're going to come back and we're going to close out the show. How's that sound, everybody?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So any of the comments that I just read, anybody want to say anything about that?
Hi to my cousin.
Huh?
I saw hi back to my cousin. I saw my cousin was there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Hey, Cousin Joe, man, no, you didn't miss it, dude. You didn't miss it. So, you know what? How about this? Since we're all kind of quiet right now, how about I cut to the video now? Matt, is that okay if I do that now?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I'll probably just talk about it once we're done. Yeah.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So, guys, listen, everybody, we're going to cut to the rock cassette video, and then we're going to come back, and we'll say whatever the fuck we got to say, and we'll close out the show. Everybody good? You guys good? Stones, Rob?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. All right. So everybody hang in there. We're going to go to the rock cassette song with Ray Strife, the Mill Hill Anthem. Matt, anything you want to say before we open this up?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
I had come together, like, this is the first hook that I've ever written, first of anything I've ever put together for rock cassette. Usually I just do booking and appearances and things like that. And I just we've had a lot of big things happen at the Mill Hill. We did our first like real video premiere there.
I'm sorry, really quick. For people who are watching who are not from New Jersey, what is the Mill Hill?
Mill Hill is a DIY venue in Trenton, and it's in the basement of this restaurant / bar, literally. And punk bands started playing there way back in the day. And it's just a local DIY punk, hip hop, everything venue. And like I like to call it the heart of like the Trenton music scene. And it's been a big place for us. We did our first ever video premiere there for Once Upon a Time. It's the first place we ever played with a live band, which was actually kind of big for us. We've made a lot of friends there, met a lot of people, and we wrote this song for them.
Matt, I just want to tell you I love you, dude. You're my brother, and I absolutely love you.
Same, dude.
And I absolutely am so excited to fucking air this. And I want everybody to crank this shit the fuck up. And we are going to come back as soon as it's over. Let's do it.
I don't believe in love.
Still will, kill, swill, blood stains, cheap thrills, beat the fuck out your boyfriend at Mill Hill.
We're at the Mill Hill where we happen to kill it. Back and we fill it with the illest, chillin' with the realest music crew. Real as a film and it's feeling like a movie too. Shooting to the moon and my dude lagoon is swimming through. In a van with weed man, feeling like it's Scooby-Doo. We found a spot when we turned around the block like Rubik's Cube. See the bass bumping when it rumbles with the thunder sound. Music coming out from the basement cause it's underground. Searching to kill, holding urban to build. There ain't a hole in my pocket when I'm burning a mill. Stairwell blazing weed, y'all blatantly won't take a stairwell cause my eyes shoot laser beams. It's Frankie B, always reppin' that T-Rock cassette. Feel the draft even if you tape the doors like rock cassettes. Dropping bread like Uma Thurman when I kill Bill. $1 at a time till we got a Mill Hill. Yeah, when the beat drops in the stairwell, we twist up the sweet pot. Yeah, when the beat drops, if the door locks, it opens with 3 knocks. Yeah, when the beat drops, 4 sticker balls around the stage we rock. Yeah, when the beat drops, it's the Mill Hill set. We'll make you wanna rewatch.
Tupac the tour rock, the dinosaur hunter. Dudes stuck in their wonder years, mistook it for hunger. Mill Hill is the headquarters for old heads and youngsters. The basement is for hip hop, but it was founded by punkers. I've been there every night for a decade and a half. Drowning my sorrows while still laughing at crap. Used to run out on my tab, now I'm part of the staff. Lied on my resume, got by on basic math. Enticed by the drink, seduced by the music. Always open doors back up after a shooting. Sometimes I got a box, but it's still the spot that's soothing. Who would have thought a dark, dirty basement would move me? Been all around the globe eating bohemian pizza. Paris is a runner-up, but Stripe, Trenton needs ya. A city full of artists, but it's not for the weak, bruh. The Mill Hill basement, South Broad Street, love.
Yeah, when the beat drops in the stairwell, we twist up the sweet pot. Yeah, when the beat drops, if the door locks, it opens with 3 knocks. Yeah, when the beat drops, 4 sticker balls around the stage, we rock. Yeah, when the beat drops, it's a Mill Hill set, will make you wanna rewatch.
Bill
Yeah.
will kill, swill, blood stains, cheap thrills. Beat the fuck out your boyfriend at Mill Hill. Bill will kill, swill, blood stains, cheap thrills. Beat the fuck out your boyfriend at Mill Hill.
Woo!
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, dude.
Woo! And we started working on that track a while ago. It's like really cool to finally have it done and out there. And it just seemed kind of like like a really good time to do it.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. That sounded fucking great, man.
Thank you. Thank
And I
you.
want to say Ian's in the chat, Ray's in the chat, Alexandra's in the chat. A lot of people fucking tuned in, man, to hear that. That's dope, man.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that checked that was here for this.
So where can people go to find that?
It's going to be on the Rock Cassette YouTube channel. Right about now, we had like an auto upload for 11:30. I'm going to be putting it up on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play soon as a single. And we'll have links on Facebook and everything too, Instagram. On my page personally, Keith Frankie's page, the Rock Cassette page, it'll all be on there. And we had a lot of fun making that. I'm really thank you for playing it here. Really
Hell yeah, dude.
We do have another track coming out in a week and a half, July 29th, I think, and that one is Rock Cassette. K-Blaze will be on that track, as well as Ray Stripe and Alien. So it's going to be full Rock Cassette lineup, Ray Stripe and Alien, and that's going to be July 29th.
Can I add something? Alien
Yeah.
is in the chat right now. He just said, Lagoon, what's up, man? And Alien is going to be our guest next week. Next Friday, man, Alien's going to be on, dude. So that's going to be fucking dope, man. Dude, I'm so fucking glad to have aired that, dude. That fucking song is the shit, dude. And congratulations, Matt. I think you did a great job, dude.
That's we went and got that finished up that night that we came by for the hello. And
right. Yeah,
knocked
Sarah and
that.
I haven't seen people in real life in a long time, and these guys all showed up outside our window one day. It was fucking phenomenal to actually see people in real life, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think, guys, man? Time to wrap it up. Stones, you still there, buddy?
Yeah, man. I'm hanging.
I think Rob's phone died. I think his phone died right before we went to
Mine's
break.
about to. I just got the 5% notice.
Okay, all right. So what do you want to say? What do you want to say to close this evening out? It's been a phenomenal show tonight.
Oh, I had something I wanted to say, and then I forgot. Now I forgot what it was.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty.
Why
good.
didn't you write it down, Stones?
I know. Well, every time I write it down, I always get criticized for having like preloaded content.
You do preload your content.
What about you, Matt? What do you want to close out with?
Might seem like the world does suck. But look for the good things in life. They're there. You know, they're still there. Artists are still making music. You know, there are still people doing good things for other people. It's there. Don't lose sight of that.
Hell yeah, man.
And
Sarah,
that's
what
about it
about
for
you?
me.
I don't know.
All right. Listen, I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. Everybody who commented. Scott, what's up, man?
You know what? I have one thing that I want to
please.
get off my chest. Just throw it out there real quick. Blue lives are not a real fucking thing, okay? That's just something that people have to come to terms with. You're not born fucking blue. You can take the fucking color off when you come home. So that doesn't count as a fucking life. That counts as a job. That's it. That's all I want to say.
100%. I'm right there with you. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight, who shared this. We had a lot of viewers tonight, had a lot of comments tonight, and I really love it. Next Friday, we're planning on being on again. It's not going to be a 2-week wait. DJ Alien is going to be our guest next week, and I'm really looking forward to that because he's also going to perform at the end of the night. And when Awesome Talk takes place here in the studio, we have performers at the end of the night, and it's really hurt us to not have that. Like, that's something we really love and we really love to have here and we really welcome here. However,
I remember what I wanted to say.
Okay, go ahead. Then I'll finish up. Go ahead.
So for the oncoming depression, I've made a few life changes that have become very positive. One, I've gotten rid of the car. I'm on 2 wheels now on the bike, and it's fucking great. I feel great every fucking day. I got rid of the fucking washing machine, and I've been washing all my clothes with this tumbler thing. It takes like 6 minutes to fucking wash it in this tumbler, and then I hang the clothes out. I'm actually building a clothesline tomorrow for my yard. It might be slightly inconvenient when it comes to having to base my life around the weather.
Some high-tech 1940s living.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, dude. Like, it's like small things like that really. I know that there's going to be a big financial payoff in the long run for taking the steps to fucking do this shit. Plus, I think it's better for the earth. It's better for the fucking world. So, depression is not going to be all bad things. You guys might have to make some compromises and stuff like that, but maybe it'll help the earth out a little bit, and maybe we'll get some exercise in it too. So.
Before we go, I had one last thing. It's a late night for me. Sorry. I just wanted to shout out Nick Koch from Marsden House Recording, who mixed the track earlier and is going to be doing our next track too. Nick's a fucking dope producer. Marsden House Recording Studios is in Philadelphia, and he is doing mixing from home. So if you record from home, he can mix your stuff from home, and he does a damn good job. So I just wanted to make ssure he got his credit. And thanks to Ray, and thank you to Ray for being on my first track that I've ever, I guess, was my brainchild. I really want to thank him. He's a huge influence of mine. So that's it. I'm done.
Well, I just want to say that I love all you guys. Stones, Matt, Rob, and Pat, who wasn't here tonight, but hopefully will be here next week. And everybody who watched the show, shared it, commented tonight. Man, I really miss having you guys be here. And I hope that that's something that changes in the future, like in the near future, I mean. So, man. So we'll be on next Friday night. And I sincerely hope that everybody tunes in and shares that. DJ Alien will be with us next week. And I don't have a whole lot to say. I think everything that I needed to say, I said this episode. I think I said during the episode. So...
Hey, Stones, you mentioned earlier the thing about, unmarked, basically fucking pseudo police / military that are just pulling people off the streets in Portland. Well, the Portland mayor just told the president to get his fucking troops out of the city.
Yeah, man, the Civil War is going to be mayors and governors versus the federal government, Sarah, the way you predicted, I think.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we're going to close the night down. I want to say thank you one more time to everybody who watched tonight, everybody who participated tonight, and I hope we see you in a week. Thank you, everybody. And how do I close the show tonight? I don't know. You know what? I think I'll dance. I'll tell you what, I will dance. You know what? I'm going to air the Chill Smith video one more time as an encore. Because that video just hit 1,000 views on our Facebook page, and I love it. I love it, dude. So I'm going to close with that tonight. And please share it. Share everything. And I love all you guys, and I hope that I said that to everybody. And we'll see you guys in 7 days. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah. 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 Hey. Yeah. 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 Hey.
Lucas.
I hope I don't run out of time. Yeah. I pray I don't run out of time. Yeah. I hope I don't run out of time. Yeah. I pray I don't run out of time. Yeah. Hey. I pray I don't run out of time. Yeah. I hope I don't run out of time. Yeah. I pray I don't run out of time. Yeah. I hope I don't run out of time. Yeah. Got the world on my shoulders, trying to put it in my palm, and I'm only getting older. Shit is taking too long. I've been single for a long time, haven't made love in a long time, been in love in a long time. Always end up the wrong guy, and I think it's all mine. I don't focus or prioritize. I don't wanna be your everything, and I don't want you to be all mine. I wanna have kids one day, I wanna get married one day, I wanna have a family one day, but don't know when that's gonna be. Everyone has the agendas, but the most important thing to me is my career. I won't give it up for not another person on this earth. I wanna stop until I make it. I'm just thinking, I'm just here, and I'm just feeling my patience. Yeah, what is success? When am I next? Yeah, do I got what it takes? Am I a catch? Yeah, make this shit clear. We had some great years, but in the collective, I know I don't fit there. I am the one, I am the guy that's gonna get it done. This is my rebirth, a rebrand. I feel like I just begun. You can ride it, you can dodge. This is not pride, this is me knowing my value. Gotta be me, I am the key, but I will always be around you. Time, yeah. Time, yeah. Time, yeah. Time. Thank you. I go by the name of Chill Smith. This has been awesome talk, and I had a great time, man. Thank you guys for inviting me. Spot a black man out.